everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Magical Maiden. So today it's my Magical Maiden's vlogs. So I know I haven't made a vlog in a long time, but I had some time to come on because I did a review on a product called a cat litter mat, and it catches cat litter so the cats don't spread it throughout your house. It's an extra large mat, so you should check that out. I also did one on a smaller cat litter mat a week prior, so be sure that you go check that out on my review playlist if you haven't already. So the things, let's see, what has been going on? I know I haven't done any paranormal vlogs, but typically the season for those starts up in September, the fall. So I am in the middle of doing one, but it's going to take a while to finish. So now you're going to hear my cat because he had to come in and I gave him a box to play with. So you're going to hear the box and him meowing because that's just what he does. So in case you're wondering, I have in my jewelry tutorial playlist, I have a tutorial on how you can make this pendant and how you can make these earrings with just using materials that you get from Hobby Lobby. So if you're interested in that, be sure that you go to my jewelry tutorial playlist, and there they'll be, and you can check them out. So also I have my 4th of July earrings in that jewelry tutorial playlist. So if you're wanting to do something and you have some time, you do have a few days. In 2 days it'll be the 4th of July, so you have some time to do that. Do you guys have any plans? I know I want to first say thank you to all my new subscribers. There's been quite a bit, and I want to thank you for all subscribing, and thank you to all my old subscribers for sticking around. I appreciate you all, and if you'd all remember to give it a like after you watch a video and share with a friend if you know anyone that's interested in the certain topics, because I have a variety of different types of playlists, as most of you know. So I would appreciate that, and always leave a comment if you just want to say hello. So my cat's gonna bug me, so I know I haven't made an everyday vlog in a while. I started to a number of times, but it's been really busy. See, meowing. My sister moved. Hold on. All right, Rudy, you want to say something? Do you have anything to say? Go ahead. Go ahead. Say hi, everybody. Say hi, everybody. Hi. So this is Rudy, as you've seen him, and he always wants to, come on, Salem's always sleeping. Salem had a UTI, a bladder infection basically, that he had for about a week or so, but I was giving him stuff that you put in their food, and he seems to be getting better. Because I think he passed it to me, because now I have it. Transference. But as long as he's better, I can take care of myself, but you know. So this is Rudy, who has to be following me, who sleeps, and I have to spoon him. If I turn around to face my husband, he has a fit. He'll meow, he'll climb over my head on my pillow and try to squeeze between us. Right, Rudy? You should see his little feeties right now. Ew, his toenails are dirty. Oh, really? He doesn't like that. All right, go play with the box. Okay, so I'm still waiting for my product to get here to do that review, but it should be up before this one, so be sure that you check that out. And it's a cat litter mat. It's really cool. It has like honeycomb openings, and the smaller one, it has like a pocket so it catches it all, and it's waterproof, and you can like hose it off or wipe it off, and it's great. So my sister bought the house next door. Rudy. So she stops over quite frequently. And usually when I start doing a video, there's a knock at the door. So it's like, okay, so I have to stop, and then it gets late, and then I gotta hurry up and like feed the cats and make dinner and clean up. So there's not enough time anymore without interruptions. So I just wanted to make this quick one. Let's see. stuff that's been happening. Well, we started to do work on the outside because I still have to do this room that I'm in. It still has totes. It's the extra room, my craft room, office, guest room, you know, it's multi-purpose room. Right now it's like a storage with still some totes from when we moved 2 years ago. And we were supposed to do this, but we need flooring for 2 rooms. My cat's room needs a new ceiling fan and a floor. Because we have carpeting there, it's old, it's stained, and I want to get rid of it. This room has the same carpeting, which we want to get rid of it, but the same floor we have throughout the house, and it needs a new ceiling fan, and I want to paint it. Not sure what I'm going to do yet, but when there's time, I want to do it. And that's going to take money we don't have. As you know, the prices of everything is going through the roof. So we thought that we'd take a break from doing stuff in the inside of the house and fix the outside. So the side of the house, there were all these yucky bushes, so my husband removed them, and we were going to get these little brick edging and put topsoil, plant pretty flowers, and I would have gotten like a little wall trellis, you know, decorated. Unfortunately, I got really sick. Now, I was sick for about 2.5 weeks. First, my husband got sick, and he had a fever, but he has medical coverage, so we went to the doctor. He got some antibiotics and other things, and he was fine. Well, a little better, not completely fine at first. So while I was taking care of him, unfortunately, I started not feeling good. The day I took him to the doctor, I was feeling a little dizzy, but we were having a heat wave, and it was like 98 or 100 degrees, and it was brutal. And so I thought that's why I was dizzy, you know, even though I was in the air-conditioned car, in the air-conditioned house, just going out to go to the doctor's office and having to walk out, it kind of made me feel dizzy. So I just chalked it up to that. But that night, I started feeling like that weird achy, fevery feeling inside. But when I took my temperature, it was only like 99.7. So it was mild, but, you know, I was like, So later on, when I, like in the middle of the night, I woke up and I know I had a fever. So my husband got up and got me the thermometer, and it was like 101. So came the morning, I felt like crap. I was very congested, head congested, not chest congested. And I felt like I was horrible. I felt horrible. I felt very weak, like I couldn't move, and I could barely feed the cats their stuff. I tried to drink coffee and I couldn't, and I'm like, I gotta go back to bed. So I went to bed and I spent my whole day there, and the fever wasn't going down. I took aspirin, I took Dayquil, and it would go down a little and then go back up. So every day it was getting worse, where I couldn't even get out of bed. My husband had to feed the cats breakfast, which they all hate. Magic always expects me, so he looks at my husband like, huh? And my cats would be like running around waiting for mom. I couldn't eat. I didn't feel like eating. I was dizzy. I didn't even take a shower. I laid there for like 3-4 days. I didn't even brush my hair. My hair, when it was done, was a big, giant knot. Because I didn't have the strength. Just getting up to go to the bathroom was exhausting. So the fever wasn't going away. It kept climbing. We'd get it go down to be normal, and it would go back up. Finally, will you shut up? Oh my gosh. He wants to tell his story. He didn't like it. He didn't like Mommy being sick. Look at him. You didn't like Mommy being sick, did you, Pink Nose? He's my bun bun. He's so cute. Look at that face. Look at that face. Okay. You're digging your claws. He's got to get his nails clipped. So my fever went up to like 103.9, and he's like, we got to figure out something. See, my husband was getting better because he was able to see the doctor and get antibiotics, but I couldn't do anything. It turned out he had a sinus infection, a really bad one. Um, okay, he's only gonna want to come back. And I didn't know what I had because I'm like, how could I catch it from him if it's a sinus infection? Now, we couldn't really do anything, but my husband's like, we'll have to max out the credit card and take you to the doctor. So we went to like urgent care, and I didn't want to because I didn't want to max out the credit card because we were going to use that to do the pretty stuff on the side and maybe get a few plants and fix up the front with some flowers and topsoil and maybe some white rock. I've been wanting to do that since we moved here, and we figured this year instead of working on the inside, we do the outside. Well, it didn't come out that way because we had to max out the credit card because I had to see the doctor. He said I had a bad sinus infection. So I do live in the woods in the south, and everything is in bloom, and we do have allergies, and my sinuses have been bothering me, so has my husband's. And I think that a few days before that we were out and about working on the lawn and doing things outside, and I think that's what triggered it, because normally we're in the house with our purifier and the air conditioner, but we were really outside. And so I think that just was, we had a mild one, and that was the icing on the cake. So no, they're not contagious sinus infections, but if you both have sinus issues and you both are out there, especially us, we live in the woods, we're surrounded by trees and everything. So, so yeah, he said I had a really bad sinus infection because I thought I just had the flu, but he's like, So he gave me some antibiotics, and now I'm allergic to everything, so I had to take like sulfur antibiotics, and he gave me a decongestant for just the head decongestant. And it was horrible waiting. I had no energy to even prop myself up, and my hair was horrible. I had to wash it before I went there, and I had to muster the strength because I didn't want to go there without taking a shower, laying in bed for 4 days, mind you. So I finally was able to take a quick shower. I had to put like half a bottle of conditioner in my hair because I had to get the knot out. The knot was huge. So I did that, and then I put a bunch of oil, and then, so my hair was just a flat, but at least I got the giant knot out. And so I went to there and I got all that. When I came home, I was like, I gotta go to bed. So I took my medicine, went to bed, and believe it or not, then the fever started going down. And by that night, I felt a little better. My husband was forcing me to eat something, eat something, eat something. You know, you need your strength. So I did just a piece of like a bagel or English muffin and some broth soup. I just wasn't hungry. My throat hurt a little bit. Eventually, the next day, I felt a lot better. I got up, I fed the cats breakfast. I didn't have, and for me not to have my coffee for like 2 weeks. Finally, after a while, I felt better, and I was like sick of laying in bed, sick of all that, but it took me about 2.5 weeks to get better. I mean, because I had zero strength. I had zero strength. I couldn't even, like, the minor task, I was like, just doing something, so doing a load of laundry, just getting up to feed the cats, I was practically crying because I could barely stand up. And I hate when I had to vacuum. I don't like a dirty house. I'm a clean fanatic, and I like my house clean. And when you have cats, fluffy cats, and you want to vacuum, and I couldn't do anything. And my husband was still getting better, so he couldn't really do much. So my sister did come over. She didn't want to come in at first because she didn't know what we had, but she swept my back patio, so Magic had a clean patio because normally I blow it, but she went out there and swept it. She said, do you need anything? You know, and then a few days she would come over and stuff, so that was great. And let's see what else. So basically I got better, and thank God for that, because it was 2.5 weeks of that nonsense. So I'm not looking forward to, so sinus infections can get really bad. I never knew that you can get that sick from it. So after that, my hair just felt bleh. So my sister she's a beautician. She cuts hair. So I'm like, you cut it for me, because one time I did it and I cut too much off at the side. Looked ridiculous. I was just like, You know, my hair gets really thick and heavy, especially in the summer. And since that big knot thing, so I said, could you cut it, trim it, but leave the length. Do not touch the length. And she knows how I am because she used to cut my hair. So I said, and shape it because I butchered it. So she shaped it for me. And then I'm like, the next day I'm like, could you thin it? Because my hair is so thick and it's so hot because we had a heat wave going on for 2 weeks of 102 and 106. So I went over there and she made a layer in the back, one short layer, you know, like in the back of my hair. She left my length alone. And then she, since she already cut and shaped my hair, she thinned it all over. I said, thin it. And oh, the weight came off my head and it felt so good, you know, and all that dry, damaged hair that I had came off from the 4 days that I just didn't do nothing. So that was really good. It was funny for those 2 weeks, it was like 102, 103, 106, 108, and I'm telling you, it was brutal heat. My sister eventually is going to get a pool, but she has to level her yard because both of our yards slope down and kind of bumpy. She's going to do it next year. But in the meantime, she got like a small kiddie pool. But it's not small, it's kind of big. But you know, you can only fit so much of water. So we put that out on the front lawn and filled it up. And people probably thought we were crazy. So we were out in the front and we sat in there. We spent almost a whole day. Her husband brought us margaritas. And we were in a little kiddie pool. And I was like swimming in it, putting my head face down, and all my neighbors were watching. The mailman was there, and I'm waving. And, you know, hey, you got to keep cool. It was brutal. You can stay in the house with the air conditioner, but even the air conditioners were working overtime. That hers, she had to get a guy come out. So that's what I've been up to, and that's what's been going on. Nothing else really. Because I was sick for 2.5 weeks and because I've been busy, and the last video I did, because the next day I got sick, was showing you different earrings and making the glam bead, glam boho bead, or whatever you want to call it, like boho beads, but glam bead. That was the last series of videos I did, and then I got brutally sick for 2.5 weeks. And after that, I just needed to catch up on everything I didn't do. And once I caught up on all that, I did a review on a necklace that some of you saw with my cat Butterball. And then I did another review with the cat Matt. But between that, then we had that heat wave. So I was over at my sister's house every day in her little kiddie pool, me and her. My husband wouldn't come, and he goes, I'm not going in a kiddie pool. He goes, I'll wait for her to get the big pool. So now I had a big built-in pool growing up, and I had a built-in pool in my house in Florida with my ex. I picked it out, I picked the shape, the tile, everything. And it was nice, and I had a hot tub, separate hot tub that I purchased with my money. And the problem was you can't take a pool with you, so it had to stay. It was a built-in pool, not the ones with the liner, with the gunite and the diamond bright. And it was nice to have a pool, you know. So, but this time around, it does take a lot of care because pool guys quit constantly. We went through 4 pool guys. The first 2 I loved. The third one was hit or miss. And the last one was a jerk, and I didn't like him. He was... I didn't like him, you know. Let's see, he was a jerk. He came over and he started to try to sell me things. I'm like, look, I just want you. First of all, he pulled up in back of my car, and at that time I was going to school 2 nights a week for computers and office stuff and a lot of other things, and I needed him to get out of my... I'm like, I'm going to be leaving soon, so I can't have you park. Oh, you can get around me. I'm like, how? In order to get around him, I would have to, like, be there for 10 years trying to squeeze. I'm like, no, move your truck. He wouldn't move his truck. Then he's like, oh, where you going? I'm like, I go to school. And none of his business, right? And then he's like, I tried coming over. I go, well, I was at work. He's like, oh, okay, because I would have came early. What do? Are you a stripper? I'm like, what? because I have long hair, and because, you know, they're big, and because, and I wasn't wearing anything. I was just wearing, you know, I was going to school, so I had a tank top, but I usually put another shirt over it, and then I had my shorts, because you didn't have to dress up for school. And it's Florida, South Florida. It's hot. And I'm like, who says that? Are you a stripper? I was like, what an ass. I was very pissed. I was like, excuse me? And then, so I use bromine in the hot tub. I didn't use chlorine because it's a little hot tub. It wasn't connected to the pool. And I used to keep it in my screened-in patio. So he was trying to sell me products for that, and look, like, I didn't have an hour for him to chit-chat, and I didn't want this and that. I'm like, look, just take care of the pool. And then he just was just a jerk. He was rude. He was a jerk. He wouldn't move the truck. I had to keep begging him. And I'm like, well, look, you talk to my husband. I gotta go. I had to go to school. So he was an idiot. The next day, I called up the pool company, and I said, this guy's a real jerk. And I proceeded to tell him what he said. And the girl there was like, oh my God, I know what you're talking about. We've had complaints about him before. I go, you might want to get rid of this dude. She goes, but he's a really good salesman. I go, I don't know. I go, but he's insulting and rude. And I really needed somebody, but you know what? I think I'm just going to take care of the pool myself. So that's what we did. We took care of the pool. I had to test the pH, and I had to always check it, and we had one of those floating things that disperse chlorine, and we got one of the Barracuda vacuums. But it is a lot of upkeep and work, and then your electric bill goes up because you have to run the motor for a few hours, at least 4 hours a day, okay? Should be 6, but at least 4, and it all adds up. If something happens, if you need to replace the filters in the motor, and blah, 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 blah. So I told my sister, I don't know. Unless I come into a large sum of money, I'm not getting a pool. You're getting a pool, you're right next door, I'm there. Let someone else deal with it. So she's like, okay, you can come over anytime you want. I don't have to be in it, just go in the backyard. Maybe we'll make a gate attaching our backyards so you could just go in. So that might be the thought. I love my own, but it's not a big deal anymore. I love pools. But unless I had a lot of money to make those cool ones where you can build like a lazy river and a cave and a waterfall and all that stuff that you see in all those shows, like Insane Pools and stuff like that, I'm not going to bother. So another thing that happened was, let's see, there's been a few things that happened. One day, a couple of months ago, before I got sick, I wake up and I'm having a cup of coffee, and I look out the door, and it was on a Sunday, and I see something moving right across our driveway, kind of on my neighbor's side across the street. And I saw something move. I wasn't sure what it was, and I realized it was a person. It was a woman laying there with a garbage bag on her. I didn't know what was going on with her. She was a drunk, homeless person that wandered. So my husband called the police, said she might need an ambulance. We don't know. We're not going to go out because they could be crazy. So the ambulance, the truck is big, and he went boom, boom with his horn, and she didn't even budge. She didn't even flinch. And that horn, air horn's loud. So the cop had to like shake her. He had put his gloves on, shake her, and she gets up yelling at him. So it was some kind of homeless woman that he knew, because he was talking to her, said, go back by wherever the homeless hang out, and what are you doing over here, and all of a sudden you could tell she was cranky, and she'd been in the neighborhood for like a week, and walking around looking in people's garbage pails and whatever. But I think she finally went, and I hope not to see her back here, because, you know, she left her bottle of booze, her empty bottle of booze and garbage all there. Ugh. So, I mean, you know, not saying anything, but I didn't want that to start happening, because you get a bunch of homeless people, one comes, then the rest come, and then you get crime and everything else. So we all watch the neighborhood, we all have cameras, and I'm on like the site next door, and we talk to each other, and I told everybody about this, keep your eye out for her, because I've seen her walk in the neighborhood. So whatever, she might have caught wind and she took off. Plus, there's a lot of police officers that live in the neighborhood all over the place, like right down 2 houses down and everything else. So I don't think she wanted to be here because she was definitely going to be told to get out of here. I don't know how she found this place, but she wandered off from her pack, I guess. She has a bad drinking problem, they said, and you know, she used to live around here, that's why, but her bad drinking problem, and she lost everything and they kicked her out and she won't stop drinking. So sometimes you can't help people. So really, other than that, that's the whole thing that's been going on. I still have to make a video to do with more mudfloods. I'm in the process of doing one now. I have to finish it. So right now I have to go ahead and do some things, and I'll try to make another one soon. So for all of you that celebrate the 4th of July, I hope you have a good one. It might rain. It's been raining all week. The heat wave is over, but we've been getting rain every day and thunderstorms. So that's the deal. We might be getting that. So I hope you all have a great 4th of July, and I hope to be back soon. And thanks again for all my subscribers, new and old. And remember to click that notification bell so that you're notified when I upload new content. And give it a like and share with someone you might know that will be interested. So thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my videos. Bye.